welcome to another episode of IST's Beyond NITK. Today we have with us Lakshmi Narayanan Krishnan. He was the SIG head of IST's Chronicle for the year 2018-2019 and currently works as a shift field engineer at Reliance Industries Limited. Hello, how are you doing?
Hey, Anand, I'm doing great.
Why don't we start off today with a bit about yourself?
Hey guys, I'm Lakshmi Narayan. Thank you for the very sweet introduction. So yeah, currently I'm working as a shift field engineer at Reliance Industries Limited in Jamnagar. Due to the COVID situation, I am in Chennai doing work from home. I think in typical Chronicle fashion, you'll probably find me watching a serial killer documentary or like reading books and sometimes jogging because you got to stay fit. Yeah.
What is working in Reliance like?
So like Reliance Industries. So far, I think we just recently completed my 1 year stint at that place. I know 6 months at home, but nevertheless, it's a great company if you want to start off learning about the food industry, particularly for people from the chemical branch, because now it is India's largest refinery, and I don't think any company in India has the amount of technology and resources for a fresher to explore and learn. And especially during your first year, you're a trainee, so you're given like a lot of privilege to like just learn stuff and like get yourself acclimatized to the industry setting, which is really great for people like me because I need my time to like get used to my surroundings. Now, so far, I would say it's a pretty sweet journey.
What are the various responsibilities of a shift engineer at Reliance?
Yeah, okay. So, shift field engineer, like the name states, it's a shift job. So, like, essentially, in every core industry or a manufacturing industry, there are like three shifts: an A, B, C shift. An A shift will be like, say, from 6 to 2, B is from 2 to 10, and C is from 10 to 6. The main responsibilities of a shift field engineer, which is, I think, something most of the people at entry level will be taking up. It's basically so you'll be assigned a particular plant within your site. So currently I'm in Jamnagar and there are like close to like 36 different plants out there. So out of the 36, you'll be assigned to one plant, and within the plant there'll be a particular area, right? So imagine your plant like this giant baby which needs constant maintenance because there are like a lot of moving, not moving parts, but there are so many things in a process plant which needs to be attended on a regular basis, on a daily basis. So there's like a long charted out schedule for everything. So in your part of the plant, essentially there'll be activities planned, I think much ahead, perhaps like a week ahead about what they want to do on this day of the week, this day of the week, and this day of the week. So your job is essentially to ensure like those tasks go on smoothly. And since it's a refinery, it's a hydrocarbon industry, the chance of accidents and hazards are really high. So there are a lot of safety and legal protocols which you need to comply while doing this work. So you have to, and the work will not be physically done by you. So there are people like contractors who Reliance hires from outside. They help us actually work on with the equipment to do the physical job. You, along with another set of field operators. Field operators are like a level below you, as in terms of cadre. With their help, you will get an instruction from your senior, which will be the shift or superintendent or whatever, and based on that you help carry out the job. And apart from, it's a lot of field work. It's not like a typical MNC job which is more of desk work. You have to be on the field to like really learn, and if you want to remain and grow in the industry. And apart from that, there are other responsibilities. So like, since it is again coming back to the same point of a safety intensive industry, there are a lot of legal compliances. So there's a lot of documentation procedures for every job we do. So we have this pink paper called the work permit. So it's a legal requirement that we need to like do a job only after printing this work permit and so on. So my job entails taking care of that, other documentation procedures, and ensuring overall the work goes smoothly. I know, like, when I say it like this, it seems very straightforward, but there are a lot of little aspects to it, I think, which you'll only understand once you get into the industry as a whole.
Through your years in NITK, how did you prepare yourself for this profile?
For this, so basically, when I chose my branch because I wanted it. I didn't like end up in my branch because my grades were not enough or anything. I actually did want chemical. I know this is something not many people say, or like people say that and eventually end up catering out to different profiles, which is completely okay. But like, I actually did want this industry. So during my time, and I was lucky I got this branch. And during my time at college, I didn't need to do a lot apart from focusing on my usual academics. I think the one area where I really wanted to like find out whether this is. I mean, I know I wanted it, but like I still hadn't experienced the actual core industry. And so one way I got familiar with it was through my second and third year internships. And I think they really gave me like a much more clearer picture of whether I actually wanted to do this, right? So during my second year, December, I think I interned briefly for 3 weeks in a paper making industry. It was a quite small scale plant compared to the current refinery, but it was still significantly different from what we learned in our classrooms, and I kind of liked it. And I think at the end of my second year, I actually got a chance to intern at CPCL, which is a Chennai Petroleum Corporation. I think that internship really set the tone for me because I loved it. I know it sounds stupid, but it's like I have the same reaction when I see these tall columns and buildings, and not buildings. I'm talking about these tall process columns, pipelines, and vessels, similar to how people see these fancy cars. I can't explain it, but I really like that environment. It's I don't know why I like it, but I liked it, and I think in that internship, I had this really nice mentor who actually did guide me about his journey through the industry, and like yeah. So basically, I just tried to throw myself out into every possible internship experience, and just did the bare minimum on my academics front, just to ensure like I have my concepts up around. Yeah, see that.
How can one land an internship at Reliance?
So I think during my time in college, I'm not sure whether it's changed now or whatever, but Reliance did come to campus internship every year around the time of say I want to say I think February. It came around February for us, just before NC or something. They had no like interview procedure for like taking internships. The one thing you had to do was I think there was an aptitude test and a technical test. It was a 1 hour interview with 50 aptitude questions and 50 technical questions. The best guide for that interview would probably be like just rummaging through all the material for aptitude and chemical based questions. And I think the site was called India Picks, and I think they take on an average about 6 or 7, if not that. So this is one method, and like I didn't land my internship through this method. I think right before they came, I think I was kind of fortunate. Like my cousin knew somebody who worked in the Mumbai office of Reliance, so I kind of reached out to him with my profile, saying like I want like a proper industry experience. I want to do a project in a core company or something. And I think initially he said like I think you'll be better. He advised me to like go for research based internship because it'll be much more useful for my career as a whole or something. He's like, we can't provide you that in a core company, but I nevertheless, I think I asked him, I just told him to like give me like a couple of contacts if possible. And I got lucky. I'm not saying he'll work with everybody. So he gave me like contacts with 3 people and like 3 different plants across Reliance. I think one of the person was a HR rep at Jamnagar, one was at Baroda, and one was at Hazira. So Reliance has like 5 different sites. So I reached out to 3 of them, and I think the Baroda one like gave me quite a positive response. So yeah, so eventually like there was like this back and forth mail correspondence from February to like April, and I think they agreed to like cover my stay in the township. They said they won't be paying me any stipend per se, but like it was quite sweet deal at the end of the day, and like so I got to work in this polymer QA lab, which is a quality analysis lab for the polymer product they manufacture there. So it's a lot of testing and standardizing sort of thing. It was I think one of the best 2 months of my life for sure. Yeah.
What was the placement process like, and how should one prepare while in college to sit for Reliance?
Okay. The place I'll just describe about the placement process in general in college. So like look, I know like everything might change this time around because of the whole pandemic situation, but I'm just going to give you my knowledge of how it was last year, right? Um, so I think if you are particularly interested in core, I'm talking about core specifically because my placement process was basically me just sitting for the core companies because I knew I wanted it, and I filtered out everything else. So As far as core is concerned, the first core company which came for during my year was ExxonMobil. I think it came around, I want to say like August, early September, right? As far as Exxon, so for any placement process, you have to prepare the basics of GD. Get your aptitude really thorough because those are the initial two clearing barriers, right? You want your aptitude to be really strong and group discussion. I mean, if you are shy or if you can't speak, you don't have a choice. You have to like throw yourself into it, and like it's not about who speaks the most in GD. It's about who's able to give the most relevant and valid points. That's really important. And aptitude, I'm sure, is something we all can perfect if we just put a little time over the summer. I think which is what basically everybody in my batch did. Get your aptitude and GD out of the way even before you come to college in fourth year. And from there, the technical interview is like the actual part of the interview for like almost all of the people who cracked it. Right? So in your technical interview, the main thing is again coming to for a core profile. So in terms of chemical engineering, I think there are like three or four main subjects. You have your thermodynamics, mass transfer, heat transfer, and I think fluid dynamics. Yeah, a momentum transfer, right? So ideally, in most cases, you're expected to know like the basics of all four subjects because they form the fundamentals for like any chemical industry or like in general basic chemical engineering as a whole. So out of these four, I think I would ideally advise you to like pick two subjects and like really go at them, revise all your concepts and topics for at least a month before your interview because it'll give a little breathing time. You don't want to be doing it at the last moment. You probably still could do it, but I really don't advise it, right? And I think everybody likes. I think when it comes to core companies, they all love mass and heat transfer a lot. I mean, some people do like fluid transfer, but most of the interviews do focus on mass and heat transfer, particularly like those McCarthy diagrams and the heat transfer, I think Darcy equations and so on. So get your mass and heat transfer thorough, or the other two subjects, thermodynamics and momentum transfer. Get two of these thorough and like have like a general idea of everything else. I know like it sounds a bit vague, but like there is no choice because like it's an interview, and I think you have to be prepared for like whatever they can essentially throw at you. So and have like a 1 month study time. It's quite straightforward. Use your class notes. I think in my case, class notes, and I think the Gate had this Arihant prep book, so they have all these like bulletized points out there. So it's quite easy to revise. Like if you want like a quick revision before in the coming days. So do that, and once you've got that clear, I think the final part of any interview is just like holding your nerve and just really being confident in yourself, right? So I think, I think this part is something which ideally you would have acquired over time in college, like let go of your introversion to be able to speak freely to people. But if it is like a case where like you are very shy and you're not very confident about speaking in front of other people, I would say just slowly start working on this somehow, like start working with your friends, have mock interviews with your friends or family if your family is comfortable with the sort of thing. And I think as far as you're able to convey what you know properly to the interviewer, right? And I think in most cases, the people who come to interview, they also understand like your state of mind. They know you're a kid straight out of college. They don't expect you to know like really crazy stuff. They just want to know that you're confident in your basics and you can communicate what you know properly to them. And I think yeah, once you've got that part down, I'm pretty sure like since most of you are from an ITK and it is a pretty good institution. So I know we've all worked pretty hard to get there. So I think we'll do fine in interview. It's not a big deal at the end of the day. Yeah, I think that will be my interview advice.
What are some upcoming things students should look out for in your field?
So as far as for chemical, so I work in the big bad oil and gas industry, right? And even we are aware, like, I mean, there is this whole talk about global warming and people talking about climate change and so on, and like oil is not helping at all, and they're probably right. But the thing is, I mean, it's not going to be like a 1 day jump. Oil is going to stay, but the thing is, the places where we might use oil will probably change. I think uh, by 2040, 2050, electric cars in India is not like it's not like a dream possibility. It is quite possible, and even like people in our industry, like my seniors or like my managers, are very much aware. So right now, as far as what we're trying to do is we are slowly shifting from making like, so what we do at JMB is a refinery. So basically, we get all the crude oil is extracted in places like Saudi and Venezuela. So we get that, we refine it, and out of that we give you kerosene, naphtha, diesel, all the stuff you use in your engines, right? So moving from that, we now looking to produce like more like value added products. So like from starting from crude is a like a base material. There are a lot of chemicals such as like monoethylene, glycol, ethane, and like there are a bunch of other stuff which I don't remember all of a sudden, but like it's basically using oils, we're producing value added chemicals which will be very useful in other manufacturing processes, which will not essentially be used as fuel for vehicles, but like in various steps in the industry. Coming back to the same point about electric vehicles, right? Um, I think if you are interested in like pursuing a research in chemical industry, I think the research concerning like electric car batteries, that is quite hot. That is something that I keep hearing from my immediate seniors. That is an area which people do want to move into, semiconductor sort of space thing. Yeah.
Finally, before we close our interviews, do you have any advice for recruitments?
Look, I know I think I said this though previously as well. It's very easy to like get bogged down considering the current situation. Like I understand, I completely understand it. It's a completely crazy year. Nobody expected it, but I think the important thing is like you have to realize like 2019 was so different. 2020 is like so different to 2019, and 2021 might be like a good difference compared to 2020. So like I know there's this weird gap, but like in 2021 things might very well get back to normal again. And when that happens, you want to be on your game. You don't want to be like left unprepared because of this weird break. So take this break as an opportunity to like continue developing and whatever you're passionate about. Not everything uh, and not everything you do like need to be oriented about like placements. It's just about like your personal development, even be it like your hobbies, you like singing, writing, or whatever it is you do. Keep at it, and at the same time, start like slowly like building your resume towards what sort of job you would have wanted in case like the situation was not so. And I'm sure like when the weather clears, and NITK is always a good brand name to have. This is something a lot of this I think did recognize once coming into the industry. Uh, it does have a lot of value once when you're out in the open for at least the initial like entry level pass. And I think which is what we're all looking for, that first burst of opportunity. Because after that it's you on your own again. But I think that part is for later, right? So we are from a good college, and as long as you like keep focusing on like your relevant skills for what you need and just stay positive, I think you guys should be fine. We have a good alum network, and I think our college really does like do a really good job with placement.
Thank you so much for that lovely advice. Goodbye and have a nice day. That brings us to the end of another interview, guys. If you found this helpful, do hit the like button below and don't forget to share and subscribe to find out about more opportunities beyond NITK.